Dear monks, all nuns, and all practitioners, every day we try to remind everyone to motivate each other about our practice. On the practice, the two basic criteria, believe in your own mind and give rise to doubt. That is the purpose to lead us. If we forget the criteria about believing our own mind, then we may practice not accordingly, not right, and we may practice the deviant path. When we believe in our own mind, then we don't go after we go after condition. We don't differentiate. So everything will lead us, if we practice right, will lead us back to our self-nature. So we need to understand the expedient, the skillful. Sometimes we may think that we understand, but understanding alone will not help us get to the state of enlightenment. Sometimes we practice and we make mistakes. So on the way practice, we need to remind each other every day so that we don't make mistakes. If not, then we're more likely to stay with ignorance. So in the Buddha's time, his disciples always stay close with him, and they always use his teaching to practice. So the patriot is the same. They use the skillful means from the Buddha's teaching to help the people, their disciples, so that they can get enlightenment. So the good no advisors is the same. The patriots always try to give instructional talks, and they always make suggestions or try to motivate people to get close to the monastery. When you look, when we reflect ourselves, within a day we have 24 hours. Let's reflect where we put our mind at. Do we put our mind at the profit and fame? Do we put our mind at the practice? In the Song Enlightenment, there's a verse stating, if we want to eradicate or subdue the false thoughts, that is not the way. And if we want to have a seeking mind or a thought of to suchness, then that is not right. If we have a mindset to have a direction toward the enlightenment or liberation, then we will stay practice. And we don't give rise to a thought of put a lot of effort into the practice to make it strong. We just practice naturally. We stay with the practice until we get to the point that we cannot let go of the practice. So we need to apply the practice, apply the skillful means accordingly to the principle, apply in the right way. See, our mind is we produce thoughts all the time. We're thinking all the time. We're contemplating all the time. Even when we're sick, when we're near death, all the time. That is the habits that we get so familiar with. So our practice is not familiar yet, but when we practice long enough, it will become more familiar, and our habits will become less familiar. So the Master Lai Hua has stated that, mentioned that. So each one of us, every day when we practice, when we reflect, we should know how much time we spend on our practice. So that's just a reminding. Now it's time for sharing. Anyone who has anything to share about the practice, bring it up. Namo Sakamuni Buddha. We invite Kim Ying to speak. Namo Sakamuni Buddha, dear all monks, all nuns, and the rest of the assembly. Dear Master, one practitioners, this individual, when he or she practice, when she asks a question, strong, asking, she feel like the practice is more clear when she asks the question clearly. She's asking about standing or sitting during practice. On the practice, we don't need to have a thought of seeking. We need to be careful. We just ask the question clearly. Master Lai keep reminding us, don't try to force ourselves. Like try to concentrate. Put a lot of energy into the concentration. The patience. It mentioned about holding hands, or like like our teeth when we close them out, try to. What he tried to say, we not try to put a lot of energy
tức là không có chi phối được mình á, không tác động được mình. Trên tất cả những cái sự khủng bố, cám dỗ gì cũng có thể
The pages mentioned that we are holding on something
đó như là
tightly,
nắm chặt
or we
cái
bite something.
tay
Uh,
của mày, hay là dựng thẳng cái xương sống
when we believe in our own mind
liền, chứ không phải là mình làm
strong enough,
nói
and
đến
we
một cái niềm tin chúng ta được đặt
take seriously
niềm tin chúng ta được
about the
đặt
practice, then everything,
cái sự
when we encounter, they don't bother
nói
us,
về
they
cái
don't
sự
distract
học
us.
hỏi. Nó có nghi tình á, cũng hỏi mà chưa có nghi tình khởi
So
tâm
I
thì
not
không
ask a
có
question and have a thought
không
of
có phải
like,
mong muốn mình gom
want
góp
to
tất
have
cả
doubt.
cho cái nghi tình.
Uh,
Chẳng qua nghi tình nó mới khởi được là do vọng tưởng tập khí chúng ta nó nổi lên trước, nhiều quá
so like when we ask a question,
nó nổi
when
lên
we
rõ
try
nhiều
to
quá,
ask a question and we
nhiều khi không
focus
có rõ.
uh,
Giống như
on
là
asking the question so clearly,
luôn
and then we feel like we don't have
nó là tin từ
give
tâm mình
rise
nằm
to a
mạnh thì
doubt.
hết sức là bình thường, không có cái tác ý, nó không có cái tác ý trong đó, nó cái chấp tâm á, cái chấp tâm. Mà bây giờ nói cái tập khí chúng ta cũng vậy, nói mình không có tác ý mình vẫn suy nghĩ, mình không có tác ý mình vẫn phân biệt, nó sinh ra tại vì nó quá thuần thục với công phu của mình á,
When we live in our own
nó
mind and we
không có
practice,
quen thuộc. Nếu
we
mà
ask a question without any taste, any flavor.
nó có cái hay á, cái lạ đặc biệt á, bởi vì
It's just like chewing a
câu hỏi
piece
ban
of
đầu á,
a log,
giống như khúc gỗ mục
wood.
bắt mình gặm mình nhai. Đối với cơm á, muối ớt nó còn có mùi vị hơn cái khúc gỗ mục, không? Tại vì cái kia là nó có chạy thẳng trên cái năng sở, đối với cái này vô nghĩa vô vị. Bây giờ cho dù mình có miễn cưỡng
So even though we
mình
are
có
very hesitant or
uống như thế nào nó không có hiệu
reluctantly
quả, thuốc mà, cho nên mình phải
to practice,
ví dụ á, tức là thuốc
uh,
mình phải thực hành để mà nó dẹp tan cái ngã chấp á, đồng lại cái nỗi niệm tác ý lên á.
we have to be
Mà
careful.
cái luân hồi á, tại vì
Uh,
cái năng năng sở mà
if we not be careful, then we're more likely
chạy trên
to
cái năng
go
sở, cái vọng
after
tưởng
the subjective and
nó
objective. Still
nó biến chất đi,
stay
và
within the
không trầm
self
tĩnh lại,
attachment.
mà chỉ
And
có
sometimes we
cái
uh,
sở đắc với cái sở sợ, tức là vẫn ôm cái ngã chấp,
make the
biến cái
practice
nghi tình, biến cái công phu đó
uh,
thành cái ngã chấp, thành cái tư tưởng suy nghĩ,
turn into
chứ không phải.
the some kind of
Và cái sự biệt
attachments.
đầu tiên chúng ta cũng bị cái sự phân biệt đó chi phối đó, nên Ngài La Quả nói rõ là vô nghĩa vô vị, mà mỗi cái câu vô nghĩa vô vị
So it
mà do cái niềm tin từ tâm mình nó mạnh hơn, cho nên nó sẽ đi đến chỗ từ lạ thành quen á, từ cái chỗ mà sở cầu sở
so if we practice right,
nó thành cái sở cầu sở đắc sở sợ,
uh,
đi
then
và mình
eventually
cái
we'll get familiar with it,
tức là
and
mình
then
phải
all the
nói
attachment will be eradicated.
một cách rõ ràng, phải minh bạch. Mà Ngài Lai Quả luôn nói
So for our
nó
practice,
đi đến chỗ
it's
khác biệt,
actually
nó
let
không
go of
không
the
giống như người ta
objective, let go of
hay nói
the.
thông thường á, gọi là lìa sở. Cho nên lìa sở mà
If we go
lìa
after
sở
the subjective and objective,
đó là mình dần dần phá được cái bản chất,
then we're more
phá
likely
được
to
cái
seek for some kind of
năng
state,
sở,
some kind of the
và
result. We're looking for
mà
result,
có
for
đổi kết quả,
effects.
đổi hiệu ứng, đòi hỏi
So when we
cái
practice right,
cái
then there will be no
bởi vì á, đối
objective,
với cái
no effect, no result. We don't
sạch mà
look
mình
for
không
that.
có cái sở, gọi là cái objective á, trong cái sở
We're
á,
not abiding on anything, on any state.
cái danh á, âm thanh hình tướng á, hình sắc đó, nó không còn bị dính mắc nữa, mà không phải là nói có
So when we're thinking
mà
about emptiness or
chưa
non-emptiness,
có cũng không phải,
it's still in duality.
nó không còn nằm trong cái tướng của tương đối nữa,
Exist or non-existent, existent or non-existence, still in.
giống như là
So even bad or
tất
good,
cả
when bad thought come up or good
kim
thought come up,
tốt
and if we practice, keep the practice going,
nổi được cái
these
niềm
thoughts will not arise in our mind.
chấp thật ở trong đó, phân biệt ở trong đó.
So like the
Cái
saying,
chấp thật,
say
phân biệt cái
we can categorize or we can differentiate all dharmas, but we don't give a thought to attachment or to abiding on them. So like when we hear, it's like hearing, but it's like not hearing at all, or seeing, but we're not seeing anything at all. Because it's not like a piece of rock. It's not like, so it's according with condition. So when the function from the substance, when the function of self nature come out, then it will benefit everyone's. It's like people, like the patriarchs or the Buddhas keep mentioning about the dream. We never get out the dream. We don't understand what the people already got out the dream and try to explain the state that they in. So we need to practice to get to the real substance, the real state. So the patriarchs or the good advisors, they always try to reminding us to tell, so that we can strengthen our belief in our own mind. Yeah, strengthen belief in our own mind. So it's just we should understand that the practice has no flavor, no taste. But if we make the practice, we want some kind of flavor or taste, then it turns into more like attachments. So you just say it's up to us. We invite Phổ to speak. Dear Master, I have a question about this Dharma door. It's simple that is just ask the question. Just concentrate or focus on the Hautou, the state of Hautou, or so that it give rise to doubt. So the good advisor mentioned about it depends on the condition that we have, the sickness that we have, and they try to give us medications. So the doctor, they have the capability, the ability to give us the medication. So it's just like the Dharma, we have all kinds of Dharma doors, and infinite, numerous Dharma doors. Like lower, middle, upper grade. It's 84,000 Dharma doors. So any thoughts that give it right, that we attach to, it is actually that is one of the sickness. So all these Dharma laws it can be applied to all different individuals. Just like the Buddha mentioned, when an individual attached to emptiness, then Buddha mentioned non-emptiness, existence. They attach to existence, and the Buddha tried to teach this individual about non-existence. So an individual attached to non-existence, and the Buddha tried to tell this individual existence. So it's actually try to break the attachment from the attachment that an individual may have. So like both existent and non-existent. So they try to break that by saying both existent and non-existent. So when attached to both existent and non-existent, then they try to break that by saying neither, nor, neither existent nor non-existence. So this is the four methods try to break us from our attachment. It's just like when we talk and then we stay silent. So like talking, we fall into the first method, the first one, first attachment, and we stay quiet. That we fall into the second attachment. So both talking and silence is still falling to the third, and neither talking or not talking, then that's the fourth one. So we fall into this four attachment. That is we stay in the duality. But because we don't believe in our own mind, then we're more likely to go after the knowledge and view that we have. So the important here is to really need to go back to the practice. It's just like taking medication. We don't take the medication, then our sickness is still there. We need to take the medication to really overcome the sickness. So like indirect methods, the individual may have a longer time to practice to so like a patient go see a doctor, the patient has to cooperate with the doctor so that the doctor can prescribe the right medication for that individual. So the Dharma is the same. You need to cooperate so that the good advisors can tell it the right way to practice. So just like the doctors, the definition of according to the condition that we may have. Yesterday, I heard a sense when you mentioned this teaching at in Virginia, in Washington D.C. about duy hiểm, giảng trạch, I don't know how to translate into English. It's about selecting. And she mentioned about leaving behind the four attachment to sweep out all attachment. The five so he just on the verse when we begin the chanting, there's a verse about the incense, and that one liberation and actually it's chỉ đạo vô năng duy hiền giảng tật the explanation is like practice is not hard, it's not that difficult. Is the hard part is to choose the way to practice, the Dharma to practice. So that's the meaning of the verse, the saying. So Yuyam Yangtat is more like the way is not difficult. The practice is not difficult, but how we choose the Dharma to practice. When we practice, when we choose a practice, we have a thought of seeking, like we want to become wealthy, we want to become healthy. We have to. This kind of practice is not the right practice. It's not the practice we may have. We need to have. It doesn't matter what condition we encounter. Even we become so poor, we're so sick. We still maintain the practice. So everything has to do with cause and effect. We don't mind those. We just stay with the practice that we already chose. So that's the right method or the right Dharma that we chose, that we have chosen. So if we believe in our own mind completely, sufficient enough, then it will lead us to enlightenment. So there's a master mention about criteria. We have to have right wisdom eyes. If we have this, we'll be able to identify which Dharma is deviant and which Dharma is proper. Lý tánh thông is mean clearly on theory. And when duality Dharma, the Dharma that has something with duality, they don't bother us, they don't distract us. Just like praising, like criticism, like suffering, happiness, or joy. The 8 winds, they don't bother us, they don't distract us. So our practice will not we can maintain the practice. without these winds distracting us. And even the terminologies, the explanation, or any other theory, they don't distract us. The basic, we need to understand the non-duality. If we understand this, we have a whole of this, grab this definition, then we will stay with the practice firmly. So one master said, if we stay with the practice 30 years, he guaranteed that we'll get to we get the result. He said that if we don't get enlightened, then go to him and take his life away. His life. To have the right view and the understanding, nothing can give us obstacles. Every one of us has this. The third criteria is determination. The mind that we set out to practice firmly. So from these three criteria, if we don't believe in our own mind, then we're more likely to stay with the duality. So if we realize that we don't have the bright eyes wisdom, then we need to rely on the triple truths. We always respect the triple truths. And so the triple truths is just like the raft boat to help us get across. So, like, if we know that we don't have the right eye system, then we can borrow the light from others, so that we can walk, we can go. So he just says, we like we listen to Dharma. So lìa tứ cứu tuyệt bách phi, leaving behind the four attachment, four states of attachment, and then we'll be able to eradicate all wrong and rights, all the obstacles, all the conditions that we may encounter. So it's just mentioned about the 62 attachment has to do with knowledge and view. So the 5 aggregates multiplied by the 4 method of attachment for for attachment. That's 20 times, 3 times past, present, and future. And then plus existing and non-existent. That is the 62 knowledge and view that the externalists are having. So the time is up. Namo Sakamuni Buddha.
Bây giờ cũng đã hết giờ. Xin chào quý thầy, quý sư cô, bà đồng tham. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.